What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a branded Chimera deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is one of my favorite decks to play, especially now that we have branded fusion back at 2. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can come pro notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Mirror Sword Knight. Mirror Sword Knight is the best normal summon in the entire deck, because if this card is on your side of the field, quick effect, you can tribute this card and then special summon a monster from the deck that mentions Chimera Fusion, except another copy of this card, meaning we can instantly tribute this card and summon out a copy of Big Wing Baphomet to be able to search out a copy of Gazelle and a Chimera Fusion so we can start stepping into our fusion plays. This card also has the ability that when a monster that your opponent controls activates its effect while you control a Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast, quick effect, you can banish this card from the field to the graveyard to negate that effect, giving you a monster negate, which is insane because a bunch of our fusion monsters actually count as Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast while in the field or in the graveyard. We then play 3 copies of Cody. Cody is an amazing 3-of as well because this card can actually search out Mirror Sword Knight directly from your deck to your hand. So you can actually discard this card to add a monster that mentions Chimera Fusion from our deck to our hand, except another copy of this card. This card also gives us some targeting protection, as when your opponent activates a card effect that targets a card you control while you control a Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast, quick effect, you can banish this card from the field of the graveyard to negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card. We then play 3 copies of Nightmare Apprentice. Nightmare Apprentice is great to extend your plays because you can actually special summon this card from your hand by discarding a card. And if this card is normally special summon, you can add an illusion monster from your deck to your hand, which is an amazing ability to grab anything that you need from your deck to your hand off this card's effect, like a copy of Cody that then you can search out a copy of Mirror Sword Knight and then go full combo. We then play 3 copies of Gazelle, the King of Mythical Claws. Gazelle is definitely a 3-of as well, and a key combo piece in this deck to help you go in for your Chimera Fusions. With the ability of this card is normal or special summon, you can add a level 5 Fiend monster or a Chimera Fusion from your deck to your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as a material for a fusion summon, you can add an illusion monster from your deck to your hand, which is an amazing effect. We then play 2 copies of Big Wing Baphomet. Big Wing Baphomet is great as a 2-of in the build and just such a powerful card to be able to play because if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a level 4 Beast monster and or a copy of Chimera Fusion from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters in extract for the rest turn except for fusion monsters, which is totally fine. But this card is amazing to be able to search out your copy of Gazelle and a copy of Chimera Fusion so that you can go into your plays, and this card is the best card to summon off your copy of Mirror Sword Knight. This card also has the ability, if this card is sent to the graveyard as a material for a fusion summon, you can turn an illusion monster in the graveyard and special summon it, which is a great effect to help you bring back your copy of Mirror Sword Knight to your side of the field, and plus it can help you chain block, which is amazing with your copy of your Chimera cards, being able to activate your copy of Gazelle's Chainlink 1, Big Wing Baphomet as Chainlink 2, and then be able to activate whichever Chimera monster you summon out to your side of the field as Chainlink 3 to be able to basically protect your plays, which is so cool. We then play a single copy of Master Tao. Master Tao is great as a 1-of in the build and just such a powerful combo piece because if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can actually target an illusion monster in the graveyard and special summon it in defense position, except another copy of Master Tao, which is a great ability to be able to use just to bring back your monsters to your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Diabeals. This card is crazy powerful in the deck and kind of works like a copy of Anti-Spell Fragrance. With this card having a crazy powerful effect that your opponent must set spells and trap cards before activating them, and if a spell or trap card becomes set on the field while this card is in the monster zone, you can actually target one card that you control and a card your opponent controls and destroy them, helping you pop cards on the field. We then play 2 copies of Aluber. Chimera is great as a 2-0 in the build because if this card is normally special summon, you get to add a copy of a branded spell trap from your deck to your hand, which we're always searching branded fusion off this card's effect. And we can easily summon this card out to our side of the field using branded opening. We then play 2 copies of Fallen of Albaz. Fallen of Albaz is a crazy powerful 2 of them today, basically just going for all of our awesome fusion plays using branded fusion. We play a single copy of Versago the Destroyer. This is a card I've always loved playing in this deck because this card is actually a fiend monster which helps us out a lot in this build, but it's also a fusion substitute monster, meaning you can count this card as a different fusion material, which is great, which actually helps us step into a copy of Red Eye's Dark Dragoon by using a Fallen of Albaz, which is a dragon effect monster, plus your copy of Versago to be able to step into a copy of Dragoon because you can count Versago as Dark Magician, which is so cool. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is an amazing 3 of in the build to basically just stop the opponent from touching the deck. We then also play 3 copies of Molcharmy Fluros. Fluros is crazy powerful in this build to basically just use this card to dig in the deck for the exact cards that we need. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is definitely a 1 of in the build to basically just stop your opponent's hand traps where you're going in for all of your plays. Then we have a single copy of Crossout Designator. Crossout Designator is great as a 1 of as well to basically again just stop your opponent's hand traps. We then have a single copy of Triple Tactics Talent. Triple Tactics Talent is just really powerful in this build to basically let us draw 2 cards, take control of an opponent's monster or look at our opponent's hand, and choose a card from it and shuffle it into the deck, which is so awesome to be able to do. We then play 2 copies of Branded Fusion. I'm so excited this card is finally back at 2. This card helps us go into all sorts of awesome fusion plays, from stepping into Mirror Jade to even bridging into our Chimera engine, which is so cool to be able to do by making cards like Ridbrom, using Gazelle and Fallen of Albaz to be able to get an illusion monster from our deck to our hand. And this card helps us summon out all sorts of crazy boss monsters, and it's so nice that this card is finally back at 2. Hopefully, we'll see it go back to 3 soon. We then play 3 copies of Branded Opening. Branded Opening is definitely a 3 of in the build to discard a card and then take a Despia monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it in defense position, which we're always special summoning out our copy of Luber using this card so we can search out Branded Fusion. This card also has the ability if a fusion monster you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish the card from the graveyard instead, giving you some protection for your fusion monsters. We then play 3 copies of Chimera Fusion. Chimera Fusion is so cool because this card is actually a quick play spell that lets us, during the main phase, fusion summon a fusion monster from our X deck using monsters from our hand or field as material, including a beast or a fiend monster. And during your main phase, if this card's in the graveyard and you have a Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast on the field or in the graveyard, you can add this card back to your hand, which is a really powerful effect to instantly grab this card back. So, that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is an amazing hand trap to use in this deck to basically just stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. It's really good in this build just to be able to stop your opponent's monster effects, along with cards like Ash Blossom, just to basically break your opponent's plays, and it's very easy to draw into this card since we are playing Fluros to be able to stop our opponent in their tracks. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start with a single copy of Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade is an amazing boss monster in this deck that can easily spot remove cards off the field. It's just such a cool card to be able to make using Branded Fusion. We then made a single copy of Lubellion. Lubellion is one of the most powerful cards in the entire X deck, which can actually help us summon out Red Eye's Dark Dragoon by using a copy of Fallen of Albaz plus a copy of Versago to make this card, and then use its effect to be able to discard a card and put the fusion materials back in the deck to summon out a copy of Red Eye's Dark Dragoon using Fallen of Albaz and Versago, which is what we use to summon out this card. We then play 2 copies of Albion the Branded Dragon. This card is great as a 2-of in the build to basically just use this card as a miracle fusion to step into the exact fusion monster you need by banishing materials from the graveyard. We play a single copy of Red Braum. Red Braum is why the deck works so well to be able to basically bridge the branded package into the Chimera package, with the ability that this card actually just requires a Fallen Volbas plus a Beast, Beast Warrior, or a Wing Beast monster, meaning you can use your copy of Gazelle to be able to step into this card with Branded Fusion, and then send a copy of Gazelle and a copy of Fallen Volbas on the effect of Branded Fusion to make this card, and use the effect of Gazelle to search out your copy of Codal or your copy of Mirror Sword Knight to go in for your awesome Chimera plays. Plus, this card is a walking negate, which is awesome. We then play a single copy of Chimera, the King of Phantom Beasts. This card is the Chimera card you're always going to summon first in this deck, as this card has an amazing ability. This card's name becomes Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast while face up on the field or in the graveyard. And if this card is fusion summoned, you can activate this effect to send a random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard during the end phase of this turn. Also, during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard to target a Beast Fiend or an Illusion monster in the graveyard and special summon it, which is an amazing ability. And you can actually use this card to chain block your opponent, which is amazing, by activating your copy of Gazelle as Chainlink 1, Big Wing Birthmat as Chainlink 2, and then this is Chainlink 3. It's very difficult to actually hand trap this card because it just activates during the end phase to get rid of a card out of your opponent's hand, but when it's summoned, it immediately activates to have that lingering ability that during the end phase, you get to get rid of a card out of your opponent's hand. We then play 2 copies of Baphomet the Fusion. This card is so good in the deck. This card is so cool to be able to summon in the deck because this card is a Foolish Burial. And if this card is fusion summoned, you can actually send a Beast Fiend or an Illusion monster from your deck to the graveyard. And during your opponent's turn, quick event, you can actually banish this card from the graveyard and then target a banished Beast Fiend or an Illusion monster, except a copy of this card, and special summon it, which is great to keep your Chimera monsters in rotation. Also, just like your copy of Chimera, this card's name becomes Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast while it's on the field or in the graveyard. We then play one of my favorite cards in the entire game, which is going to be Chimera the Illusion Beast. This card is such a beast of a boss monster, and I play this on stream all the time when I stream Master Duel, which you guys should definitely come hang out on one of the Master Duel streams, and this is absolutely crazy to be able to play. This card's name becomes Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast while it's on the field or in the graveyard, and this card can attack monsters a number of times each battle phase up to the number of materials used for it, because its materials is actually a copy of Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast plus 1 illusion monster, meaning you can put as many illusion monsters you want into this card, and depending on the amount of materials you put in this, depends on the amount of attacks you get, helping you go in for game. But that's not the best part. The best part is that this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by battle, and at the end of the damage step, if this card battled an opponent's monster, you can actually change that opponent's monster's attack points to 0 and negate its effects, so you can swing again into that 0 attack point monster over and over again until you win the game, because it will not be destroyed by battle with this card, which is absolutely crazy. This card is such a good boss monster. We play a single copy of Guardian Chimera. Guardian Chimera is great as a 1 in the build because this card is either a draw 2 and a pop 1 or a pop 2 and a draw 1, which is awesome to be able to use in this deck. It's basically just dig in the deck and also pop cards on the field. And then a single copy of Red Eye's Dark Dragoon. Red Eye's Dark Dragoon is super easy to make because we do play Versago in the deck to be able to count as Dark Magician. Plus, you can use your copy of Fallen Volbas as the Dragon Effect monster to make this card. And just really good to be able to play because it cannot be destroyed by battle, or it cannot be destroyed by card effects, excuse me, and then neither player can target this card with card effects. And also, it is a walking negate, which is absolutely amazing to be able to use this card just as a walking negate. And being not being able to be destroyed by card effects and non-targetable is absolutely insane. We then play a single copy of Magnum. Magnum is really good in the deck as a 1-of because this card actually lets us target a polymerization spell or a fusion spell in the graveyard, place a target on the bottom of the deck, and then draw a card. And when another card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can actually banish a polymerization spell or a fusion spell from the graveyard, target a card on the field, and destroy it. My single copy of Dracos Depalia. Dracos Depalia is just really good overall in the build. Basically just use this card as a walking negate. My single copy of the Duke of Demise. Duke of Demise is so good in this build. Giving us an additional normal summon is absolutely insane, because this card has the ability once per turn during your standby phase, you can pay 500 life points or destroy this card. It cannot be destroyed by battle, and also during your main phase, you can immediately effect results, normal summon a monster, and you can banish this card from the graveyard and then target a level 4 or higher fiend or zombie monster in the graveyard and add it back to your hand, which is a pretty cool ability. But if you do draw into your copy of a Luber and a copy of, say, Mirror Sword Knight, you can go in full Chimera combo and then use this card to get an additional normal summon of your copy of a Luber, so you can go for your branded plays as well, which is so cool. With my single copy of Typhon. Typhon is great in this deck just to be able to use a skill drain for 3,000 higher attack point monsters and a bounce. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is so fun to be able to play. It's one of my favorite decks I've ever played, to basically just summon out all sorts of really cool monsters out of the field and help you go in for a game. And the Chimera engine is just absolutely insane to be able to use with the branded cards. So that's good for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next videos. See you later, guys.